Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Bella and I go by Thebellafix. I am a New York City Latina content creator. I am a mom of 5. And in this channel, we talk about lifestyle, self-care, and motherhood. Okay? Okay, guys. The irony of this video starting 4 days ago, and now I'm just sitting down to actually get into the nitty gritty of what I was going to do 4 days ago. It's like, it's perfect. You know, I couldn't have described motherhood in any better way. This vlog, if you already know me, welcome to Thebellafix. My name is Bella. I go by Thebellafix on all of my platforms. You are looking at YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and I have a little bit of Amazon affiliate situation going on. You know, we're in all the platforms. Every platform I do something different. On TikTok, you are going to be seeing a lot of outfit of the day and Amazon links, and on Instagram you're getting more of a weekly catching up, you know, something a little more subtle. And then on here you get my life. Okay, on YouTube you get the weekly, you get everything that's happening, you get to catch up with me, you get to speak to me in real time because I answer all of my comments. You know, we do the do. Now that that is out of the way, feel free to press all the buttons. Please share if you resonate with me, meet me in the comments, talk to me. You know, we're gonna connect. Now that that is officially out of the way, let's talk about today's vlog. I am talking about how it feels and where I am today at 35 with 5 children in New York City. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Motherhood at 35 looks extremely different than what I had imagined at 18. And if I'm going to be even more honest, I didn't imagine motherhood at all because I didn't want kids. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. This child, yo no quería nada. Yo no quería hijos, yo no quería hijas, yo no quería absolutamente nada. I didn't want no parts of that. But here we are. And I say I didn't want kids. I disclose that information simply because that's really how life works. You understand? Sometimes you don't want something, or in the opposite, you may really want something and it just doesn't pan out the way you expect it to. And part of life is learning how to adapt into those type of situations. And with me, I had to adapt. I went into the military at a very young age. And then if you want to hear more about the military and closing chapters, go and look at my very first vlog, and that will explain everything about closing chapters and the military. So I'm not going to really get into that. But I went into the military extremely young. And by the time I was done with the military, I had my first kid already. And I cried. When I tell you, when I found out that I was pregnant with my first child, I cried like if it was a funeral. Like, it was not a happy experience for me. It was not something that I wanted. It was not something that I had envisioned for myself. It just wasn't it. And because I was young and I did not have the appropriate support system, and frankly, I just didn't know better, I made decisions that I would have not done at 35. And by that, I mean resources. I mean, like, I could have finished so much faster, you know, my degree. I could have looked for help much differently. I could have been in a different state. Like, I could have done things so differently. Having chosen to stay with my child and be a mom at such a young age, I could have done things differently. But you don't know those things because you don't have clarity. And your priorities are all over the place because you're still thinking as a kid, you know? And that is the major difference between a parent that is 18, 20 versus a parent that is in her 30s. You are looking at growth, you're looking at clarity, and you're looking at new priorities. My priorities today at 35 are very different than my priorities 10 years ago at 25.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
I was
really
25
fine. You just
10
can't
years
get into
ago.
it because they would never understand.
That's a lot. That's a lot to digest. And even at 25, I was already a parent for like 7 years. All in all, full circle moment. To describe to you what it feels like to be a parent, a more seasoned parent, is like finding something that you love. Let's say you love basketball or volleyball. For me, it's volleyball. I used to be varsity in high school. Let's say you find something that you absolutely love to do. You are going to be great at it. You're going to be really good at it because you love to do it. You are going to find that passion. You're going to find that drive. You're going to find that commitment. You're going to find that dedication and that motivation to continue to pursue that love that you have for that thing when you're fresh, brand spanking new, right? But as you grow into it, that love becomes something more like second nature, and it becomes more intuitive. It becomes something that is a part of you. It's no longer a hobby. It's no longer something that you love to do on the side. It becomes you, and you engulf in it. You embody that. You embody that volleyball. You embody that basketball. You become a volleyball player. You become a basketball player. You become this whole entity. And honestly, that's how motherhood feels. From someone that didn't want kids to someone that now eats, sleeps, and breathes her children on a consistent basis every single day, I can say that every single day is different. And that is not something that I'm like thinking, like you see my eyes, I'm like, but every day is different as a parent, as a mom. Every day in a very chaotic, busy city can have its challenges. And I'm not talking about challenges that directly affect me or my children. I'm talking about challenges that affect other people, that also sometimes my children may be around. There's so many things that can happen on any given day. And then from my lived experience, you have to multiply that by 5, because I'm not just dealing with myself and my husband and my one child. I'm dealing with 5 children. So it is definitely an acquired taste to kind of explain it back in terms of food. You know, I originally explained motherhood and described how it feels with a sport. Now I'm kind of describing it with food. And I say all of these comparisons, I'm using all of these comparisons because motherhood is a part of you, but it's also something that you can't get away from. Being a parent is a 24/7 job until the day that you are no longer here. Being a parent is something that every single move you make, every step you take, literally everything you say is going to be, you know, drilled into someone else's head forever. You know, I'm at my big age, I still remember things that my dad said to me when I was 6. And I still have memories of my mom when I was like 4 doing fashion shows in front of her, you know, and putting random things on and pushing her onto the couch and making sure that she's watching me do Vogue. You know, these are things that can either make or break a child. So it's very fragile. Motherhood is very fragile, but yeah, it is extremely. That's my mom. That was a perfect example of motherhood never stopping. My mom is going to be 60 and she is very much still a mama. Baby, close the door. Okay. That's my angel baby. Fun fact, I had my oldest look at the video, the last week's video about all the children and their personalities, and he could not figure it out. I mean, he figured out a few and he was a little jealous, but overall it was okay. But yeah, motherhood never stops. Parenting never stops. You are never in a space where you could just catch a break. Even when you go on vacation or something like that, you are still constantly thinking about your children. You're making sure that things are being done or things didn't fall through. You're dotting your I's, crossing your T's with motherhood and parenting in general. If you're a very active and present parent like I am, it is a non-stop thing. But for me, how that looks is very simple. I mean, I wake up every day. The first thing I do is drink my water, do my journaling, go use the restroom, wash my face, shower, do all of those little basic essentials. And I do that at like around 4 o'clock in the morning. From 4 to like 5, I'm doing all of those things. And then I immediately check my emails. I have like 5 different emails. I have my personal email. I have my bills, my subscriptions. Yes, I have a separate email specifically just for subscriptions, coupons, you know, advertising, marketing. I have a separate email for that so that it doesn't spam my personal email. Then I have a kids email. I have one email that I get everything from every school, from every teacher, all into this one email. And that allows me to kind of keep everything concise with the children. And it just helps because dad and I both have this email. That way, if I cannot answer, he's answering. Or if he's not going to answer because he's too busy, he'll say, hey, check the email. We got sent something for this kid. So that helps a lot. Then I have my regular school email, because I'm still in school. And then I have my work email, and then my teenagers, all of my children have their own emails, but I have access to all of those emails. So I kind of cluster them into one phone, which is the house phone. I have a cell phone that's separate from everything else, and we call it the house phone because if somebody's phone breaks or something happens, you can call that phone and you can get any one of us in the house. I put all of the children's emails in that phone. But my older children, like the teenagers, I have their emails in my phone and I'm constantly checking, making sure that they're not missing anything. I make sure that anything big they haven't seen, if I've noticed that they didn't open it yet or whatever, I'll kind of like give them a nudge. Hey, have you checked your emails lately? I won't necessarily pry into it because you have to teach them independence and responsibility. So I don't really go into the email, but I just kind of check. If I notice that their emails are going off like crazy, hey, did you check your emails today? So yes, that's the first thing I do outside of basic essentials. Then honestly, depending on what those emails are telling me, it's gonna kind of map out the day. I do have to work. I do have to do pickup and drop offs, and I do have to just make sure that lunches and things are taken care of. But for the most part of the day, like I told you guys in the last vlog, I always leave room for chaos. And leaving room for chaos allows me to implement whatever's priority in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day based on whatever information I got from my emails. So that could mean anything like I now have a new text thread with a teacher and this teacher wants to meet, or it's Valentine's Day coming up and I completely forgot. So let me go check the calendars and see if there's a special event at the kids' school. Let me run to Walmart and let me get their things, or let me do a purchase on Amazon and buy things for the house so that they can have a weekend, a Valentine's weekend. It could also be looking at the calendar and seeing, okay, I noticed that I did my daughter's hair 2 weeks ago. It's time for a hair care day, Sunday hair day. Let me check the shampoos and the conditioners and make sure that I have enough so that I can go then and, give her a deep treatment conditioner. So that was a lot. And that's just the more basic things, but that's kind of what happens on a consistent basis when it comes to the children and how I would describe my life. So very chaotic, very organized. I'm a very organized girl, okay? But also very prioritized. I prioritize in clusters, and then my brain functions in a way where if I'm not doing one thing, okay, why am I not doing that? Is there something else that's more imminent that needs to get done first? Let me get that done, but that's going to be up there. Like Mel Robbins says a lot, you have to put it in tabs. You have to put it on paper if you want to. Your to-do list now, something that you're going to have to do this week and something that can wait for later. I cannot work with everything in front of me because nothing's going to get done. So I'm a very organized mama. Because what? I have Miss Director over here. She is like staring like I'm being criticized. But okay. I forgot what I was saying. She's having a ball. I mean, I guess we could just wrap it up right here, you guys. Realistically, that's motherhood. That is the best way I can describe it. It is like your best hobby, your best. She is on the floor. The other children are with their dad outside the room. He's making dinner. And then I got this one over here. Okay, guys, I'm wrapping it up. Motherhood in New York City as a Latina mama 5 means a lot of organized chaos. And it means prioritizing your day today based on whatever they need. Whatever someone else is telling you, your life is no longer your life. Your life is definitely, it does take a little bit more on the back burner, but that's how you learn how to do time management. But you don't get that in the beginning. You don't learn how to do any of those things. You don't get that clarity or that growth when you're 18, 20. You get that a little bit more seasoned in, At 22, I was not this structured. I was definitely like, oh my God, I gotta go crazy. I gotta do a PTA conference. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta bake cookies. I was all over the place. Now I got a calendar. I got a huge calendar. I have a home calendar. I have a phone calendar. I have a shared calendar with my kids. I have a calendar on the fridge. Like I am calendar galore. And I have journals everywhere. Listen, Erin Condren is tea. All right. We love a good organized planner. And yeah, I hope this made sense. I hope I didn't lose you thanks to homegirl over here.
Hey, I'm not homegirl.
Whatever. I will see you guys in the next vlog, and I will make sure there's no little people interrupting me because this is very important stuff, okay?
This is very important stuff. Yeah, wow.
It is very important stuff, okay? But this just goes to show you the relationship that I have with my children. I treat all of my kids independently and very different, and you have to parent them. So I'm gonna just enforce what I said last week. Individualize. Make sure they do not bleed, their personalities are not bleeding into the others, and just have fun with it. Don't worry, if you're just starting out, you're gonna get it together, but it's gonna come with some speed bumps. You know, you gotta wait a few years, you gotta hit your 30s, or you just gotta wait at least a decade, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I promise you, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna link below the Mel Robbins podcast, and I'm gonna link below some planners that I absolutely love, and I am going to also show you something that I use every day, and I'm not even gonna hold you. I use this every day, and I put this on my bed sheets because it keeps me up. Get away from me. Goodbye. Goodbye, you guys.
You missed.
I missed. I'm not gonna miss now. Never again. Never again.